Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video we have Retribution Paladin tier sets revealed for 11.1, and there's also some class changes for 11.1 that we'll talk about as well. So first of all, let's talk about this tier set thing. There was a big, this is happening the day of, there's a big hubbub about the tier sets being revealed. Everyone thinking that everyone's going to have the same exact tier sets. That ends up not being the case. They all just use the same mechanic. So DPS use a mechanic called Winning Streak. Tanks use Luck of the Draw, and healers use Insurance. So you'll see, like, if you scroll through everyone else, you'll see Winning Streak, there's Jackpot. So there's other ones as well, actually. So mages all use Jackpot. So there's different things being used, right? So it's not all homogenized as people were kind of fearing it was. However, you know, I still have some early criticisms of this tier set on its own standard here. So let's just get into the Retribution side of things here. So 2-set bonus. Your spells and abilities have a chance to activate a winning streak. So this is probably going to be a buff. Increasing the damage of your Templar's Verdict in Divine Storm by 2%, stacking up to 10 times. So up to a max of 20%. That's a lot, right? But Templar's Verdict and Divine Storm have a 12% chance of removing winning streak. So you kind of are playing a slot machine here. This is literally a slot machine tier set. The power potential is great, right? You could avoid that 12% chance many times in a row. Like, it's probably very common that you'll get up to, 5 stacks of it, right? It can stack up to 10 times, and you kind of want to, you'll kind of just be hoping that you get as close to 10 stacks as possible at all times. And then there will be some times where you low roll. This is complete RNG, of course. There's no way that I can see to kind of game around this, unfortunately, except for the fact of if you got a 10 stack or something, even if you're at max holy power and your Wake of Ashes is up, maybe wait, no, because it's not the damage, it's not all your damage, it's only the Templar Verdict and Divine Storm damage. So yeah, there's like no way to really gamify this, unfortunately, because it only affects the 2 abilities, and those 2 abilities are the same ones that remove it. So just big potential for damage, but very roulette or slot machine. 4-set bonus. When you lose your winning streak, so when you hit that 12% chance, you get the last holy power spent back. So I don't know if that means 1 holy power or you get the 3. I imagine it's the 3. So you get your 3 holy power spent back. And for 4 seconds, you cannot lose holy power. So you basically get a bunch of divine purposes. So you get like 4 divine purposes or 3, depending on how many you can fit with lag and stuff. You cannot, I assume cannot lose holy power means if you're at 5 holy power and you cast your thing, then you are whatever. Now this is all, what's interesting too is you could maybe gamify that by using like Hammer of Light or something. You cannot lose holy power. So if you can use your Hammer of Light, then you can, or if you use your Wake of Ashes and Hammer of Light out of it, that would not cost holy power. This is also going to be interesting to see how it works with Divine Purpose. Like, do you not want to take Divine Purpose because it's going to take out these take up some of the time for these free ones? These are things that we'll have to think about in the coming months. And the damage of holy power abilities is increased by 10%. So you get 5 stacks basically when you do lose your winning streak. So, heck, if you get a winning streak and lose it immediately, then it doesn't say for how long. If it's just the 4 seconds, then it's still pretty good. I have criticism. My only real criticism, this is my second time reading through it. My only real criticism of this is honestly that it is so RNG, but the damage potential for it seems pretty good. Obviously, if it's too high a damage, they're going to nerf it, but the damage potential of it actually seems pretty good. But it's completely luck-based, but I'm guessing based on the names of some of these, Luck of the Draw, we're in a casino, I'm guessing a lot of these are going to be RNG-based for many specs. So this is interesting, to say the least. It could be quite good, actually, but it's on a random pull on a boss. It could be really bad. This is something that over the course of a dungeon, though, like in Mythic Plus Dungeon, it'll average out, and it'll probably actually be pretty strong in that kind of setting, where like you're in a 30-minute setting, everything averages out. It's going to be that 5-minute boss fight where you're going to be really, pulling the lever on the slot machine. So people who hate RNG are probably not going to like it. If you don't mind it and you just want power, then, you know, maybe it's cool. And I haven't looked at everyone else's, all the other DPS's ones, so I don't know if they're all like that, but hopefully they are. Hopefully it's not just Ret that has that. I did want to also talk about these changes here. So Paladin has some changes in general. Lightforged Blessing now heals for 1%, was 2%. I believe that's our Divine Storm heal. So that's nerfed, which is not great. Just Reward, it has more reward, increased healing. Blinding Light and Repentance now break on damage threshold instead of any damage. So Paladins have finally caught up into 2024, and now our CC is not just broken immediately. It's probably still way too low of a damage threshold, but at least it's not broken immediately by anything, right? So that's a plus. This seems more like a PvP thing, probably. Templar, Empyrean Hammer now prefers targets over creatures and summons. Again, I think that's kind of a PvP thing. Hammer of Light implementation has been revamped to resolve issues such as casting delays, tuning difficulties, and the limited scalability of its infrastructure. Hammer of Light now displays the correct amount of damage done. So they've supposedly fixed our Hammer of Light. A lot of people don't like this about Hammer of Light. It had, if you don't know what that means, it just had like a delay. It was like a weird delay when you use Hammer of Light. So hopefully that's fixed. And then we can go down here to the specific ret changes. Flash of Light healing increase. Word of Glory mana increase. Healing Hands now only functions on the Paladin themselves. It was working on allies. And now this is the weirdest one. And I'm sketchy about this one. And Divine Toll now casts judgments on units near your main target, even if you're not in combat with them. That sounds horrifying. However, if that range, if it's like, it says near your target, right? So if it's like within 10 yards of your target, that's fine, because you're going to be aggroing things from that close anyways. If it's close, this is fine. If it's just like, oh, in the same room as your target, then this is terrible. It already sometimes randomly pulls stuff. This would be absolutely terrible. I'm going to assume the best and assume that it's things close. And I'm hoping what this is trying to fix is that random bugginess of not being in combat with something that's actually on its way running to you. Right? So let's say you do a pull and you Divine Toll on the first mob in the pack and you're not in combat with the other ones, so it only hits that first mob, right? Instead, it'll hit those other mobs as well. I'm hoping that's what it means, if in which case this is a great change. I don't know if you've ever had this happen, but I've had it happen where I have more than one mob pulled, but I must only be in combat with my main mob and I only hit the first one, and I actually don't get the extra holy power or the extra damage from hitting the other mobs. So if it's just addressing and fixing that, then this is actually a great fix, and this is right up there with the Hammer of Light fix. But hopefully they're not just griefing Ret Paladins. That would be terrible if they're just griefing us and our Divine Toll just randomly pulls everything now on purpose. Because right now it sometimes happens on accident, and hopefully they're not doing that. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they're not doing that. So yeah, what I'll be looking forward to here to wrap up the video is when the PTR comes out, hopping on the PTR, testing out the tier set bonus, seeing how RNG it is, seeing how powerful it is, and relaying that information to you guys. So that'll be in a couple weeks here, 2-3 weeks, I think, probably 3 weeks or so when the PTR comes out, and we'll be on there testing that out as much as possible. I will be looking through some of the other tier sets as well after this video, and seeing if everyone else's is kind of RNG like ours is. So that's it for this one, guys. As always, I do ask you to subscribe to the channel. If you're already a subscriber, I encourage you to check out the Patreon. Other than that, everybody have a good one.